Good evening, folks, and welcome to episode 38 of the Monday Weekend Wrap-Up. As you can see, no intro. We're getting straight into the action. We have Milo with us to my right. Milo, welcome in.
Hello.
To my left, I guess. We have Hoff joining us as well.
Hello.
Down there. And CulturedLeftFoot joining us for a second week in a row. Welcome in, Cultured.
Hello.
How you guys doing? Everyone doing good?
Good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
A highlight of the weekend, non-football related. Anyone want to go first? I'll go first. I ate 5 bags of top ramen in 2 days because I did not go grocery store shopping. I blame daylight savings.
Okay.
And only 2 of them were cooked. Nutritional value is the same, just so you know. There's no change. You just get dehydrated. Just, so, beat that, anybody. I dare you. Hoff, you got a highlight?
I can.
Okay.
We got a new sectional couch, so that was fun.
Oh, nice, man. What kind of sectional? Is it like one of those?
Oh, sectional. I thought you said sexual. We've got a new sexual couch. I was like, wow, relationship's going far.
Yeah, we're very open here. No, it has
Midwest things.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. I had a good one. It was the wife. We had a bit of a birthday shindig at home, so a bunch of
That's
people came
right.
over, had some drinks and food, and finished it off with a delicious ice cream cake from Dairy Queen. My oh my!
Those are always so good.
Yeah, very good.
Was it cookies and cream?
No, it was all chocolate, everything, chocolate surprise, chocolate,
Ooh.
double chocolate.
Delicious, delicious.
Mm-hmm.
It matches the sex swing. the couch.
Wait, the ice cream cake?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that too.
That too. Nice. Real quick, let's just get this out of the way because it's brought up in chat. MLS Cup this weekend. Did you guys catch any? Did you hear about that or anything? It was pretty wild.
It was
Gareth
incredible.
Gareth Bale, Jesus Christ.
He shows up in finals.
Yeah, it
Okay.
made me tweet out to say if anyone summed up that enjoys big games that they have on Football Manager for certain players, Gareth Bale has to have that.
Oh, yeah.
Just
Oh,
rocks
yeah.
up in finals. So
Just
Yep.
amazing. That was great. Gareth Bale,
Did he score a banger then, or what? Or what happened? I did not watch any MLS anything.
he's okay. So the game, like, just for anyone who didn't, we'll just catch you up basically. This is my recollection of it. 1-0 Philadelphia. Yeah, 1-0 not Galaxy, LA, and then late on Philadelphia equalizes or something. Basically, Philadelphia equalized late on. Game goes to overtime. Philadelphia scores 124th minute winner in extra time. Gareth Bale scores 128th minute, or no, equalizer in extra time as well. So the 2 latest goals in MLS Cup history. And then LAFC wins on penalties. That's what it was.
Nice.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. Good stuff. Alrighty. Well, guys, to start off the show, we have a very special prompt, okay? So this show is for the audience. We do it for the viewers. And today we have a call-in today. Our one of our first call-ins, he is going to call in, and then this is going to set off the show. There's no script on the show, as always. We are unscripted, except for the trivia. But our first guest, we have the #1 Haaland fan apparently joining us. I hope he's ready. And let's see what the #1 Haaland fan has to say. #1 Haaland fan, can you hear us?
Haaland, he's a blue just like his dad. Cart, yo, Man United, trash. They are
Bro.
a dog, okay? Listen to me, Man United, you're going down. Listen, City, we're gonna take that top. I'm sorry, Arsenal, bro. Look, we're taking #1 this season, and I'm telling you right now, Cart, you are gonna get nowhere near that Champions League spot. You lost 3-1 to Villa. I won't make excuses. We tied against them. But hey, you remember what happened last season, Cart? You remember that 3-2 for City to win the league? I bet
Okay.
you were hoping that would not happen, right?
Okay.
But it happened, just like it's gonna happen this year.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Anything else you want to add? Anything else you want to add?
Oh, sorry, I was muted. My fault.
Oh no, you're good.
Alvarez has such a bright future.
Okay,
You know,
okay.
He's a young rising star.
Okay.
You know, just he's better than Ronaldo. He's better than Messi. Holland, better than Ronaldo, better than Messi. City, better than United.
Okay.
Bro, that's all I gotta say. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm about to leave. I'm about to leave it right there. Holland's the GOAT. Alvarez is the GOAT. There's no competition. That's all I gotta say.
I love it. I love it. Thank you for your call. Thank you for your call. Number one Holland fan. Oh my God. He took it back to the Aston Villa City game. Jesus Christ. Who was Aston?
I preferred it when Man City were in Division 2.
Yeah, when they're battling the likes of Gillingham.
Yeah.
Great call. Great call. Thank you for the call. That was awesome. Okay, look. Let's just he brought up Man City and Villa and United. So let's start there. Manchester United versus Aston Villa. 3-1. Unai Emery's first game in charge. Just blasted United in the first 10 minutes of the game. And 2-goal lead. Luca Digne free kick. Just destroyed us. General thoughts on the game. Since I was brutally attacked in that opening, I'll give my thoughts real quick. This is basically my thoughts. United, we played in midweek again on Thursday against the it was basically like a Europa League second leg, basically, against Sociedad. We had to win by 2. It was like guns blazing, high intensity, high effort, away from home. Sociedad sitting back, just absorbing our attacks and then going on a counter, and then Sorloth taking random shots from outside the box. So look, now I'm gonna say, am I excusing United from playing so poorly in those first 10 minutes? No, because we got our control into the game. We're obviously missing that attacking unit, that cohesion, right? You just cannot build chemistry with this Ronaldo, in my opinion. And so it's just, he's on his farewell tour right now. It's a little cringy, I admit, watching him kind of play the way he's playing. He's doing his 40-yard free kick, way over the bar and all this stuff. And that stuff, it's just hard to build chemistry with that type of striker. I do think we did play some good football, but I just think the energy surrounding Unai Emery's first game in charge, Villa's just been having a poor season. They got to go on a run. They're going to go on a run, I think, with the squad they have. Fresh legs. We looked out of ideas, just tired. I kept thinking tired. But it was a great occasion. Villa's first win since like 95 or something in the Premier League at home to United. I just think this is why we love the Premier League, and this is why football is a great, it's just fun to watch football for these stuff. Everyone loves to hate United. And everyone loves to hate certain United fans as well, troll them and whatnot. I won't say who's trolling who, but anyways, yeah. So I just think it was just all set up for Unai Emery. They just blasted us away. But yeah, fair play to Villa. We played so poorly in those first 10 minutes, and then the first 5 minutes of the second half, we just slow to start. Just that just low energy start, and but we got a decent handle in the game, but we're still lacking in the attacking zone, right? Martial's coming back from injury. Sancho, Antony both out. That leaves Ilanga, Rashford, and Ronaldo up top. A lot to ask of Ilanga. Ronaldo is, he's doing his thing. Sorry, not Ilanga. Garnacho. Garnacho looks promising, but he's, 18? And then Ilanga came on later as well. But yeah, I'll pass it on to Cultured, who's repping the United kid as well. Cultured, your thoughts on the game? I know I was brutally attacked, guys. Come on, you gotta give me a little break there.
I don't think I can really disagree with anything. I think, we looked tired. I think Ten Hag knew that I think he wanted to prioritise that Europa League to get that 2-0 against Sociedad and try and avoid, obviously, what has happened now with the draw, getting someone like Barcelona dropping down from the Champions League. And I think he was willing to sacrifice the Villa game to do it. Otherwise, you would have seen more rotation. But I think the biggest annoyance is that Ronaldo and Donny van der Beek offered nothing. Donny van der Beek I think, can categorically be classed as a flop. And I don't like to say that about your own players that you sign, but he's been pretty rubbish. He's never really taken the effort. I think it was just a bit. No one really knew what to expect from Emery coming back into the Premier League. I think he didn't set that Villa team up like he'd set up Villarreal. It was slightly different. He went 4-4-2. I don't think anyone really expected Leon Bailey to be playing up front with Watkins and Danny Ings to start on the bench, but Leon Bailey looked rejuvenated. He looked absolutely awesome. Everything went through him. He ran off the back of defenders. I think Emery set it up really well. I think Emery realised they had to be defensively solid, and Man United have to go and break them down. And he probably would have loved the fact that Ronaldo was starting, because it does completely change. There's such a difference between Ten Hag's forward line pressing and rotating around when it's, Anthony, Sancho and Rashford, or Martial, Rashford and Anthony. And then, Ronaldo comes in and you have that focal point striker, which you can tell Ten Hag doesn't really want to use when he's got those other players. Or if he is going to use him, it'll be like Haller at Ajax, right? Which will be a target man. So, which Ronaldo, again, doesn't have the potential work ethic to do, because he wants to get the ball and spin and try and run still like he's 20 to 30-year-old Ronaldo, not 36-year-old Ronaldo. So, I can't disagree with anything you said, Cart. I think, Villa deserved it. They came out all guns blazing, did really well. Yeah, disappointing.
Yeah, it was. Hoff, any thoughts about the game? I don't know if you saw the game.
I caught parts of it and I saw the highlights. Jacob Ramsey was excellent.
Yeah.
He was
great goal.
He was very good.
2 goals, right?
Yeah, Digne's free kick was great.
Yeah.
And I excuse me. I think I saw highlights on Twitter of Martinez doing some shithousery. It's kind of nice to see him back in the peak form.
Love it.
Yeah, maybe we could talk about that. Milo, did you see those elbows thrown by Lisandro Martinez? Did you see those?
I saw bits and pieces of those, but I just want to say on the game, let me take you back a few years now. Arsene Wenger gets the sack from Arsenal, recommends publicly Unai Emery. Emery comes in, does some stuff. He gets the sack from Arsenal, goes off for a bit into purgatory, and then comes back, takes over Villa, leads him to a massive win over United. I think we got to say Arsene Wenger's done it again.
Oh my god, unbelievable! That's good. You might be right.
Anyway, the elbows, yeah. There's definitely some. It's a talking point, right? It's a talking point, but I think all in all, Villa, will they be that hard done by about stuff like that? I don't think so. I mean, I know the player mentioned it, but I mean, they got the result, they got the win. That's all Emery will care about. And that's all the board will care about as far as the big 3 points for them. I do wonder if it's that new manager bounce effect that we see so often.
100%.
Yeah, you had mentioned that last week as well, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm concerned that's going to happen to me on Football Manager. So, it's definitely it's definitely a big win for them. So I don't think the talking point is really a talking point. Like if Villa had lost, and you know what I mean, like maybe a bigger deal would be being made of it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I definitely think those elbows. I think to speak about those elbows, I do think that was because just a couple of moments before that, Mings and Ronaldo got into like a tussle, and then they stopped the game to check for violent conduct, and then like a couple minutes later, Martinez just, I mean, like. It's hard to call that violent conduct, because if VAR calls it, if VAR calls it, the ref is gonna feel forced to make the call, right? If you know what I mean, if he tells him to check it out, but yeah, definitely some elbows in there. I think with that's stuff that happens without cameras all the time, at least from my playing experience. But yeah, with cameras, it's a little reckless. Speaking of Martinez, he is suspended for the first leg of the Europa League match against Barcelona as well. So his yellow cards are adding up there. We'll get into Europa League and Champions League a little later. But
insert Harry Maguire here. Is that what's going to happen there?
I think it's gonna be Harry or
Well, Varane will be back, won't he? Because it's after the World Cup.
yeah, but it'll be
Be Varane and Lindelof, I imagine.
Yeah, Lindelof probably before Maguire, which is interesting.
But meanwhile,
interesting.
Southgate will pick Maguire just because.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess so. It's a little baffling. It's almost like maybe. I mean, Maguire's just not playing. He played in the Europa League. He came on as a striker for us. But besides that, I don't know what the plan is. I don't know how Southgate's going to defend that. Will be interesting though.
We'll find out on Thursday, won't we? That's when the squad's announced for us.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
it is. I'm sure we'll carve that open
Yeah.
next week.
We'll talk about that,
Yeah.
and we'll talk maybe some other squads a little later tonight. Continuing with our phone-in's other point, Julian Alvarez, the greatest player on earth, apparently coming. He scored a nice goal, to be fair, against Fulham. Then Cancelo gets a red card, dogzo, as we've come to learn, denial of a goal-scoring opportunity, red card, penalty. Andres Pereira, the United signing from United scores, and then we had a penalty awarded to
Kevin De Bruyne.
What a dive! I mean, like if we're talking, we talk about over exaggerating content. I talk about it all the time, and that you have to do it. I also think that a little bit of a prestige factor comes into that whole situation. Not prestige, reputation, or whatever you want to call it. De Bruyne. I mean, if like, okay, let's not use an Arsenal example. Let's use maybe if like Garnacho, or okay, maybe someone more known. Okay, let's just say Martinelli. Like if Martinelli goes down like that, like I wonder if the ref is pointing to the spot as easily.
If Bruno goes down, if Bruno Fernandes goes down like that, it's not a penalty.
It's
because he dives. Everyone knows he dives, right? Everyone knows
right.
he rolls around on the floor. That's not
right.
a penalty if Bruno Fernandes goes down like that.
Right. Salah maybe doesn't get that pen. Who knows? Yeah. I don't know. I wonder. But there was, and personally, I liked the call. At first, I thought there was some other contact that Kevin De Bruyne had made, but it looks like it was the angle at which the camera was shot.
Yeah,
from.
those angles definitely played a part in that because you saw it from both sides. Like I thought from one angle, it looked to me like KDB actually overstepped and clipped the defender first. Like it almost looked like he clipped the defender and the defender was still coming through, and it made, you know what I mean? It was a really weird one, that one, but KDB made an absolute meal of it. There's no denying that.
That's a veteran move, That's that kind of you need
the Harry Kane effect.
Harry Kane effect. The biggest annoyance I have with it is that with VAR watching it, you can see there is a little bit of contact, and then Kevin De Bruyne plants his foot and uses that foot to launch into a dive, which is the foot that got caught. And I'm like, surely VAR can see that and be like, well, clearly the contact's not enough to put him down because he's put that foot on the ground and then used it to spring into a dive. I'm like, I thought it could be given. It shouldn't have been given, but
I mean, we talk about it often about referee decisions, and I'm a big proponent of looking for consistency, and the only way I think you can get consistency is if you call those. I think you have to call those because it's so soft, and but it is it's slightly clumsy from Anthony Robinson. It is slightly clumsy. And basically what's going to happen, right, is if players are allowed to make that challenge, they'll continue to make that challenge. And, it's just, I don't know. I just see like these types of that type of defending is going to be slowly stamped out of the game, and that I understand that's part of like the British high intensity, kind of style, but like it's gonna have to be tempered a little bit in order to get some consistency going. I don't know.
Are you saying you'd prefer it to be a non-contact sport?
It would have to be.
I know you're always going to get shoulders and
you're
things
gonna
like that.
You're gonna get shoulders, and you're gonna get a crunching tackle when you get the ball first type of thing. Like Casemiro had a crazy tackle, which
did.
Honestly, I don't know if even like that is like a proper clean tackle. He got the ball first, and then he could have ripped his ankle apart. To be honest, if it was just because his knee came through the other side. I'm not sure how to really address those, but Buendia did make a heavy touch. But so like that type of contact where you win the ball first, I think is okay. But in situations where you don't win the ball first and you make contact, these players are like, spending so much time in the gym, to refine their balance, to work on their speed and agility. Like, I mean, if you're an Arsenal fan, you have to be a proponent of this, right? Because that's their whole play beautiful football, and then we'll get to Arsenal as well. I mean, we can kind of transition. Anything else about City though? They went temporarily back on top. Haaland converted the penalty. Haaland almost scored a goal. I'm just gonna say this about City: they are a little cross spammy when Haaland gets in the team, and fair as they should. They have an amazing striker up front who can literally accelerate from a standstill faster than anybody on the pitch, and cover more distance than anyone on the pitch. And Kevin De Bruyne he's just curling balls in every other way. It's just interesting. I really don't think Pep loves it. I really don't think he loves it. I don't think he loves this, long ball, counter attack. He likes possession, beautiful football, and it'll be interesting to see how he adapts to this whole thing. Sorry, I'm talking a lot. I'll read chat. You guys talk about, or maybe comment on Ibrahimovic's comments on Pep. Maybe. Off anything on that? I don't know.
What did he say?
Like two of the. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, go. I'll look it up. I'll get the proper quote.
Ibra said, I forget the exact words, something about Pep's ego being so big, not being enough room for other players with big egos, something to that effect. I forget and it's kind of rich coming from the player with the biggest ego I've ever seen. But yeah. I just like, I mean, I always enjoy whenever Ibrahimovic does anything to that effect, calling out other people for big egos. I feel like he does most of his stuff jokingly. I think there's a little bit of seriousness with him, but I feel like he does most of it, and he may not be. It's just the feeling I get whenever I hear him talk, is he's kind of doing it playfully. I don't know if that's actually the case.
I'll give you the quote here. It's Zlatan says, "Is Guardiola able to improve him?" Being Haaland. Question. That depends on the ego that Guardiola has. If he allows him to be bigger than Haaland or not. Right? If he allows himself, if he allows Pep to be bigger than Haaland or not. He didn't allow me or others to be as big. Right? Guardiola wanted to be the big man type of thing. And then Guardiola says he is right. He is completely right. In this club, in this team, my ego is beyond every other person. I don't like it when Erling Haaland scores 3 goals and all the highlights are for him. I'm so jealous, honestly, so jealous. I say, Erling, please, no more goals. Otherwise, the Sun and Daily Mail won't talk about me. And then
he said this?
Guardiola said this about
yeah.
That's outstanding. I love it.
See Pep have a sarcastic side.
Yeah, and then referencing Ibrahimovic's 2011 autobiography, which was scathing of Guardiola, Guardiola says, "He knows me perfectly. He can write another book. My ego is whoosh." That's what's written here. Whoosh. Yeah. And then So that's what this is all about. It was a big talking point leading up to the weekend. But yeah, you know, Zlatan. Okay, so these are my comments. Obviously, you guys know I'm a critic of Pep. You know, I want him to be better. You know, I want him to grow as a man and a manager. But I think I think there's a right. It's like at a certain point you have to allow your players to express themselves fully, right? You don't want them to play with a ceiling type of thing. And I think Pep's managerial style puts a ceiling on his players. It's very high. He expects a lot of them, but it's a ceiling situation in my opinion. Right? There's a high floor or whatever you want to call it, but there's a ceiling as well, right? And I think that's the type of thing that that Zlatan is referencing is Pep wanted him to exist in his system, which is fine, but I don't think you're going to get the full potential out of players, especially these young. Just my opinion, especially this style of player, this Haaland, who doesn't play tiki-taka really. He's not a tiki-taka player as of now. You know, so it's just that's the way I interpret it. And also as a manager, right? Like if you're managing a company and you hire specialists, right? You hire specialists to score goals, or you hire specialists to make passes. You need to let them be special and do their thing, right? All you can do is kind of tell them, yeah, you gotta clock in here, and you know, make sure you don't draw outside the lines here, and then just do what you do, you know. And I think there's a little bit of that, touch of that maybe. Just my personal to push back to Pep. I don't know if anyone has any comments about that or anything. But all right, I don't know if anybody. No. Okay. Pep is the ultimate fraud. I'm sorry, but that's my opinion. Goodfellas says Pep's doing it playfully. Zlatan is making it serious. Allowed Messi to be bigger. I don't know. I think he gave yeah, that's true. He gave Messi a lot of freedom. He did give Messi a lot of freedom. And I think he's trying to give that freedom to De Bruyne and other players in that team, but he's just, you know, it doesn't. I don't know. That ebbs and flows. Speaking of that penalty and that foul on KDB, let's move to Arsenal. The league leaders from Saturday's league leaders to this week's league leader, Arsenal. Great game against Chelsea. Exciting game, even though it was a 1-0 scoreline. The foul that I'm referencing is that one on between Cucurella and Saka. Corner kick from Saka. Gabriel puts it away, kind of goes through everybody. Big win for Arsenal. Milo, why don't you give us your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, Extreme says lucky but crucial Arsenal goal. I mean, a London derby. I talk about it endlessly. London derbies are the hardest games, I think, for us. If you look outside of, you know, obviously playing City, which is tough for everyone, but yeah, I think it's another really important statement win, and it's the first time we've beaten the 3 of the consecutive Big 6 teams in a row since 2012. So 10 years. Yeah, it's a long stretch since we've been able to pull that off. So I think that's a really big thing. I think if you look at the game overall, we deserved the points. Another day we might not have got the 3 points. It might have been a draw. I'd have taken a draw away at Stamford Bridge. I'll be completely honest with you. If it was 1-1, I would have taken that all day long. But I thought our passages of play, which sometimes were amazing. I'm not gonna be around the bush, and whether that's just you know, I don't know what that is. I think that's just the teams enjoying the football it's playing. There were some really, really nice passages of passing between the team. And earlier on, you mentioned something about how, you know, Arsenal want to play pretty football and stuff. Like, I think Arteta's happy for them to play that way. But what we've got now that we didn't have during a lot of those Wenger teams that played really nice football but got dicked on quite a lot and bullied, we don't have that vulnerability anymore. So we have a bit of robustness. We have probably the best defense, available that we've had in a long time. And I think it's showing with some of the results we're getting. And if you want to be successful, again, I'm not saying that I'm looking at the title because it's just far too early. But if you want to be successful, you got to grind out some wins, and that's another one of them there. I thought Martinelli was excellent again and thoroughly deserves his place in the Brazil squad that was announced today. And then Jesus as well. I thought Jesus had a fantastic game. He did everything except score, and again, I'm okay with that. All the time the team's successful and he's in a drought, it's really not that big of a deal. But obviously, any naysayers will want to make it a big deal. They'll want it to be a negative talking point. I think you just have to ignore that, and the team's doing well regardless. So if he wasn't scoring and we're losing games 2-0, 3-0, 1-0, then yeah, there's going to be more to it. But yeah, I think all in all, another 3 points. We carry on, and that's all we can do. That's all we can do, just game by game.
Yeah, these are the big matches. These are big matches that Arsenal's getting 3 points out of, and I know you're not looking at title, but you're gonna think back and like, this is a sneaky 1-0 against Chelsea, kind of a fortunate goal. It could be like this, that could be a title winning point, 3 points or whatever you want to call it, and also I mean, yeah, Liverpool also, yeah, just tight margins against the big teams. You'll take your tight margin wins against big teams rather than tight margin wins against smaller teams, where you guys usually handle them pretty good. Culture, did you see any of the Chelsea-Arsenal game? I don't know.
Yeah, I watched it. It was on a good time for me, actually. So
okay, yeah.
I watched the whole thing, and I thought, Milo was saying he would have been happy with a 1-1. I think that could have been 2 or 3-0 Arsenal quite easily. I don't think Chelsea offered very much. I think they looked lost. I think Potter's still trying to figure out what he can do with the players he's inherited and got bought technically for him. I mean, you look at, was it Tuchel that came out, I think, and when they signed Sterling and was like, we've got our number one target, and now Tuchel gets sacked, Potter comes in and Potter's playing him as a sort of right wing back / winger, but he's being asked to defend a lot, which is what, no one wants Sterling to do that. He can't defend. So I think Chelsea looked lost. I think Arsenal deserved the win. I think, yeah, I was expecting more of a battle from Chelsea. I don't think they really had that in them. I think they just look lost. They look a bit confused. I think Potter needs to figure out a way to get that team. Well, he needs to figure out a starting 11, isn't it? He still hasn't played the same 11 players in consecutive matches yet, starting, I think, something like that. And I thought, yeah, Arsenal deserved to win by more than one. I think Arsenal are looking very good. I think Jesus not scoring is more of an issue than Milo's making out. I'm not saying it's a complete nightmare, because you have got other people scoring, but the issue is if he doesn't find his scoring boots and everyone else stops scoring. So if you've got an injury to Martinelli, I think you're going to struggle, because he's been fantastic at the moment. If he comes back slightly with a slight knock from the World Cup or something, and Jesus hasn't scored in the World Cup and he's still on that drought, that's when I would start to be a little bit concerned. I know Martinelli didn't score against Chelsea, but
his work rate's so high. I mean, look, I think that's where obviously when Smith-Rowe gets back as well, hopefully he'll be back after the World Cup. I think he can slot in on the left, so it gives us some depth in the 10 and the 11 position. And Smith-Rowe had a really good season last year. He was contributing some great goals, probably scoring more than Martinelli has, I believe, last season for Emil Smith-Rowe. So he's a player that's kind of waiting for his opportunity to get back in the team. But it's one of those situations where the team just gets results. And obviously he's carrying a knock right now. But yeah, I mean, the Jesus one, look, I want him to score. And he came so close. He forced a couple of really good saves. And it's just one of those. He started off the season with a bang, and he's had a drought, and the City fans definitely bigging it up and saying it's par for the course. One thing I didn't mention in my sort of spiel about the game, Hoff, sorry, I'm sure you might have some things to say about this one too, but Aubameyang, I thoroughly enjoyed the whole Aubameyang situation.
He was terrible.
Not only was he terrible, he had 8 touches. So Mohamed El Neni had more touches on the ball in the last 8 minutes of the game than Aubameyang had in the 65 that he was out there. He did that commercial for BT Sport, like a hype clip or whatever, like a trailer, if you want to call it, for the game. And I wonder if he was contractually obligated to start that game, because I don't know that he didn't start last week. You know, like he's not been playing that well for him.
He didn't start in Europe, did he?
No, he didn't. And I just
No.
wonder if he was it was in his contract, like, you know, I get to play this game and I'm going to do this soundbite or whatever it was, you know, and it just opened him up to all kinds. And there's a picture of Gabriel and Saliba, I think, celebrating either side of him, and his face is just amazing. Like, I really enjoyed that one because, you know, yeah, he's got a lot to say when he's moved on, hasn't he? And you know, that's it. We can forget about you now.
Yeah. Yeah, Hoff, anything to add about that game?
Just wanted to touch on Chelsea and Potter. They're 2-2-2 in their last 6, but right after Potter started, they were playing pretty well, or I should say getting good results, not necessarily playing well. But now I think the results are catching up with the performances, and I think he'll figure it out eventually. Like, they have the talent to play well, get better results, but I think he's, like Cultured said, like, he's still figuring it out.
Yeah.
If I could bet in Singapore, if I was allowed, you're not allowed to do sports betting in Singapore, but if I could bet, I would put money on Leandro Trossard playing for Chelsea at the start of next season. It's either going to happen in January or it's going to happen in the summer. Potter will go and take him from Chelsea, from Brighton. Sorry.
So where's Pulisic end up?
On loan at United. Let's revamp that one. Let's get that going again.
Or Leeds. Send him to Leeds. You know?
After he wins the Golden Ball, of course, at the World Cup.
Yeah.
On that BT Sport thing was pretty interesting. Did you see the behind the scenes of that as well? The behind the scenes. Oh, you didn't see the behind the scenes. Okay, they were literally feeding him lines on the spot.
Gotcha.
Right. Yeah. So he was like, and then when they said it's nothing personal, Arsenal or something, he's like, he laughed before he said that. You know, like he was pretty. He's pretty. They definitely using the player's image or whatever. I guess. That's
well, he still showed up and agreed to do it, so he can do one. See you over.
And then Gabriel, I think, posted on Twitter something. It's nothing personal, you know. London is red or something.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
But yeah, I just want to I don't know how many Chelsea fans are here, but Chelsea looks so bad. Cultured, you mentioned it. Everything was just a long ball. You know, they were building up from the back. You know, Jorginho and stuff. That's fine. You know, they had that aspect, but then you have just Sterling, and then Havertz is like a shell of him, whatever he was 2 years ago, or you know, he scored the winning goal in the Champions League final, and then it just seems like that was the peak of even also Pulisic. You know, he kind of peaked that season. He had a nice assist, I think. Mason Mount hasn't been quite the same. Seeing Chelsea in that kind of that strict 4-4-2 kind of, you feel like, you know, that's a little Brighton-esque, you know, not too glamorous, not too, you know. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't really researched. Isn't Stamford Bridge in like an industrial area of London or something? Or no? Am I making stuff up?
It's sort of it's in an area called Putney. It's near Fulham.
It's been developed a lot now, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been developed a lot. Yeah.
Okay.
And they've run out of space to develop the ground anymore. Like, it's got to its maximum capacity, so they have to move or knock it down and build a whole new one.
Build it on Sims. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I heard this like back when Mourinho was in charge, because they had that crazy home record, you know, that kind of like strong, you know, whatever, that Mourinho style. But it feels that I got hints of that type of football against Arsenal, that strict 4-4-2, and you know, Jesus and Havertz, you know, playing on the wings deep, you know, or not Jesus, Sterling and Havertz playing deep on the wings. On their
stadium there. It's got to be one of the last Premier League grounds set up like that now, like where the fans are so close to the pitch. Like Highbury was a lot like that. All the stadiums
it's
were
definitely
like that.
The last of the top 6, right? It's got to be last of the big 6 stadiums like that. So.
I tell you, man, like I wouldn't be in a rush to get rid of that. Like there's nothing quite like that.
Yeah,
true. I mean, my thing with Chelsea is that you saw, like, as I said, I was watching the game against Arsenal. and they bought on players that are just not Chelsea standards. Conor Gallagher was on loan at Crystal Palace. Brozier was on loan at Southampton. They've got Chalobah, who I think is terrible. They've got Loftus-Cheek, who isn't good enough for Chelsea. And they've got all of these players. And I think, 3 of those people I've just listed started the game and the other 2 came off the bench. And it's just like, that's not... If they won the Champions League 2 years ago, that's not right to have those. Like, you need to move them on. I know everyone wants a homegrown player. Wow.
You know, like I'm just saying, like, I don't know that Chelsea can expect too much more. The days of them going out and firing the checkbook, I think,
right,
you know, to that kind, with that kind of impact, those days might be over. They might have to start to get used to a bit more of a reality situation.
True. Yeah, true.
Yeah. Well, speaking
How
of
much...
yeah, good.
I'm trying to think of like what I would do if I was doing an FM save with them. The first
administration.
thing well, yeah. if I was forced to do a save with them, there we go. I would recall, and I know they'll never do it, but I would recall Lukaku.
Yeah,
I know it was him and Tuchel that were butting heads mostly. I don't know how well he would do under Potter, but I would have to assume that Potter could get something out of him.
I think Potter would prefer him to Havertz playing as a false 9. I think Potter would have preferred Lukaku or Werner, just someone who is a striker.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
You think Aubameyang was a panic move?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was another one with Tuchel, wasn't it? That was Tuchel bringing him in because of a link back at Dortmund, was it, when they played together? Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I did have it's obviously the Bowley situation seeping into my subconscious, but Chelsea felt like they were like playing MLS or something. It felt like an MLS side against Arsenal. It's just the way they were just throwing these long balls up, just like hoping, and like the way Havertz was dribbling and Sterling was dribbling. It was just like there's no cohesion, no nothing. Just kind of hit it up and just kind of run around it.
I will agree with that. Yeah. I'm not the MLS analogy. I don't watch enough of it, but the style of play system was odd because they tried to build up from the back, and then eventually Thiago Silva or Jorginho picked up the ball and just went long. And you're like, well, what's the point of keeping it around the back? You've got talented players to try and move it through the midfield, and then you're just hoofing it long towards Aubameyang, who is. And
credit to Arsenal, their press is amazing. They've got all that energy, and Xhaka pushing way up as well. He was sometimes following Jorginho all the way into the back line, and it was just
GDX.
Yeah, let's just talk a little bit about GDX, the man of the month. I got to be. He's playing really well, and we talked a little bit about it in Discord while we were watching the game. To me, this is Arsenal play a 4-2-3-1, right? It's not like a 4-1-4-1 because Xhaka controls that, that going from a 4-1-4-1 to a 4-2-3-1. I think the fact that it's Xhaka, it feels more like a 4-2-3-1 because he is kind of a defensive mid, and the fact that he's just pushing into midfield and creating that 4-1-4-1 press whenever he chooses, it's a pretty important job of his to know when to to keep that press high or when to keep it, when to drop
it's
back.
It's more like a 4-1-1-3-1. You know what I mean? Like, because it's that offset. It's that offset pivot, and I mean, I like that his defensive responsibilities have been, dialed back, but he still has the capability to get back and insert himself in the game defensively if he needs to. But I think I think, as I've said most of the season, we're seeing much more of the Granit Xhaka that you get when Switzerland play.
Yeah.
And is the reason that we bought him. Those performances.
Is Arteta learning? And he saw Pep when he was his tutelage under Pep, and he saw that Pep put a ceiling on players and didn't let them play with freedom. And Arteta's just gone, go and do what you do for Switzerland.
Just do whatever you like. Just make it Swiss.
Just don't get sent off. Make it Swiss. It's a slogan. Make it Swiss.
Swiss.
That's a great point. Arteta has that balance of that. His attacking line plays with so much freedom. Like Jesus is everywhere, doing everything, and Saka is. I think he's pretty content, kind of just hanging out on the wing type of thing. But Martinelli plays with a lot of freedom. Odegaard's a lot of freedom.
That's what my question was going to be. Yeah, would Odegaard be as good under Pep?
Oof.
George, you think he'd be restricted?
You'd have
'Cause
to
I think
imagine
Odegaard-
Pep without KDB in
Yeah.
order for you to mentally make
Yeah.
it work. You know what I mean?
Because I think Odegaard is the player that makes Arsenal tick. I think Martinelli, Jesus, and Saka do a lot of running for Odegaard, but everything goes through him. He controls the pace of the game. He dictates the tempo. He picks the passes. I think
Yeah.
we're finally seeing that Odegaard that Real Madrid bought and
Yeah.
we're hoping for. And I think he's flourishing because I can't imagine Arteta's telling him to do too much. I think it is quite a lot of
Yeah.
go and have the freedom and enjoy your football sort of thing. Don't worry about defending. Xhaka will run back. We've got Thomas Partey. We've got a good solid, like you were saying, Milo, you've got that robustness about Arsenal now. So you can take that player like Odegaard and be like, go and attack, go and control the tempo.
It also helps that he brought in Zinchenko to help, not rushed him back because apparently he was ready, but Zinchenko coming in was a little bit of a surprise to me, starting him in that game.
He was good.
He was, yeah, but he was very important to the way that the team played in the first half, at least. And I'm really enjoying the fact that Tomiyasu, to me, what a signing! Like, can play right back, centre back, and now left back.
Yeah.
He didn't feature there, and Ben White's been playing at right back and holding down the starting spot, which just across our back line. Even Tierney, I still rate Tierney. I think when he's fully fit, I think he's a handful for players on that side of the field. And I just can't remember being this happy with our defensive depth and variability that they can all play in different positions and stuff.
Yeah.
At least right and left back wise. But yeah. And Gabriel. Sorry, go on, Carl.
I was just you're talking about Zinchenko, the way he comes in and kind of plays that false fullback and allows Ben White to turn into that kind of that right-sided center back, it really fits nicely because you can't really do that with Tierney. Tomiyasu he did it a couple times. He kind of comes in and kind of fills that Xhaka area. But yeah, that type of, it's like almost a single false fullback, not double false fullback, right? I mean, in eFootball, right? When you have false fullback, both fullbacks move. But in this situation, it's just Zinchenko, and Zinchenko is like a kind of a perfect player to do that type of movement.
Pushes it
you don't
into
really
a
get that with
3-4-3 when you're attacking. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Having seen the team this season against all the different kinds of opponents, I'm really looking for. I wish that City game wasn't postponed now. You know what I mean? Like I wish it hadn't been postponed because I want us to face City. I want to see. Have we learned anything? Have we taken a step closer to that top of the table echelon? Do you know what I mean? Like I'm still, for me, top 4 is the target. Anything else is a bonus. I think that's the way they're looking at it as well. I mean, that's how it seems. So, but I really want to. I want that game, man, so bad, just to see. I still think Haaland will be too much for us to deal with defensively. But I mean, you never know.
Yeah, I was thinking. I mentioned a couple times on the stream about how it's kind of a perfect storm for Arsenal. What's going on? I mean, it all depends on City, in my opinion, and I know there's a couple other teams that are. Most teams have gone through some sort of rebuild, and I would even argue that City is going through a little bit of a rebuild with Haaland, right? This new style of striker. Right, United's obviously new manager, Chelsea new manager, Liverpool lost Mane, also slight rebuild. Newcastle are they've been building, but we'll talk about Newcastle as well. What's the last team I'm missing here? Tottenham. Tottenham are also they've built on last year. They're just they're just playing this sort of football that's not. You don't feel like it's gonna win Premier League games every week, that you don't get I don't have that confidence in it. But like Arsenal is just picking up right from where they kind of left off last season, in a rebuild that began when Arteta came in a couple of years ago, or whatever. It's been about 3 years now since he came in, I think. And like, everyone else is in a quasi rebuild. I mean, quasi as far as Liverpool and Man City go. Everyone else is in a pretty much straight rebuild. So it's a great time. I don't think the title, for those reasons, I don't think that it's that crazy to think that Arsenal could do something as far as the title goes, because they're just building on what they've had started building a while back. So, it would make sense. I'm not saying like Leicester. Leicester was a bit of a perfect storm as well, right? I'm not saying it's Arsenal are a one and done type of thing, but I'm just saying, it's decent timing for Arsenal, so it's not bad. Um, but yeah, I just can't see Arsenal losing to any like lower table sides with that intensity. Obviously, if they lose that intensity, then that's another thing. But they've been killing it so far. Speaking of Liverpool, we kind of mentioned them there, and also regarding Gabriel Jesus, we can talk Liverpool and the Brazilian team. First, let's talk the game. Liverpool and Tottenham. Decent game yesterday. 1-2 to Liverpool. 2 Salah goals, 1 assist from Darwin Núñez, and then a Harry Kane goal in the second half. Hoff, what are your general thoughts about that game? And who it was just Harry Kane and the lineup I saw. I think it was Perisic playing next to him. So Son and Richarlison both out.
Perisic was doing his Croatia thing, which is kind of I kind of applaud the move from Conte, playing Perisic somewhere that he plays internationally or plays more. That's not where he always plays. But I mean, needs must. Everyone else is hurt. Kulusevski came on and immediately changed the game, which was great to see. So I'm hopeful for him to be fully healthy, back and ready, and starting matches. It's every game is a tale of the first half and the second half. You can afford to spot Bournemouth 2 goals in the first half. You can't afford to spot Liverpool 2 goals in the first half, because you can play as well as you want in the second half, which they've in both the second half of both of those games. They played great. That's probably some of the best performances I've seen all season. But when you're playing a team of Liverpool's quality, it's just not enough. When you're playing someone like Bournemouth, then you have a better chance of pulling it out. But Perisic did hit the post a couple times. One of them I was like, damn, he should have scored that. I think it was the second one. The first one I was like, oh, that's just unlucky. But the second one I was actively pissed that he missed it. I don't know.
Right.
I think that a lot of I always refer to Spurs Twitter as, well, why can't they play like that the whole game? I understand why they don't, or why they aren't right now. Is just, Conte doesn't select his squad to play 2 matches in a week. So it takes them 45 minutes to get into a match. That's just how it is. After the World Cup, will that change? I hope so. Hopefully there'll be a signing or 3 in January. I don't know. And I don't even have specific targets in mind, but yeah, I'm not upset about it. Liverpool is underperforming. I think we can agree on that overall this season. But the quality's still there. They've beaten City, not easily, but they beat City, which is something that isn't easy to do. But yeah, it's I don't know. Next is what I'm for.
As you mentioned, spotting Bournemouth 2 goals. Spurs have not scored. They've gained 10 points from trailing position so far this season. So yeah, it does always seem like that. Whenever I watch Spurs, I just feel like they always concede first, or they always go down first.
I honestly don't know how we would play if we scored the first goal. I don't know if we know how to defend a lead. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. Yeah, just want to comment. I thought Darwin looked pretty good. He
Yeah.
I think we mentioned a couple weeks ago. He looks like like a newborn giraffe. Just doesn't know how to walk yet a little bit. He's trying to move faster than he can. Or he's just a little you know, the pace of the Premier League is so quick that he's like he knows in his head what he has to do, but his feet can't keep up, type of thing. But he had a great assist to Salah, I thought, on the first goal. You know, well, they already have a giraffe. They have Matip. They have okay. What's the other? What's another? Maybe like a.
He did have that half volley, was it, or he hit it like fairly early in the game, ran onto it and forced a good save there. I thought.
Yeah, he had a pretty good game.
Yeah, I thought he looked lively.
I think he's. I think you mentioned it a couple weeks ago, or I think it was a couple weeks ago. You mentioned you've seen better players take longer to get started in the Premier League and get like up and going, and I think that was perfect analysis. Like and I think we're starting to see him become more familiar with the league. I also I need to admit I was wrong about Eric Dyer.
I was going to ask you about that because I think Ben White might be a little bit excited right now.
Oh, he should be. I mean, if Dyer is on and playing well 85% of the time, that last 15% when he makes mistakes are just so critical. He doesn't make a mistake that goes out for a throw-in. He always makes mistakes that go for important goals against. And it's so frustrating because he has the ability and quality to be a good, consistent player. It's just, he doesn't show it.
I think for England, I'd rather take Eric Dyer and Ben White and drop Harry Maguire. Because I think Eric Dyer will be in the squad. So what I'm basically saying is I'd rather take Ben White than Harry Maguire. And I think Ben White should start. Like...
I think he's been phenomenal. The problem is, well, Southgate. I mean, we'll get into this after the squad announcement for next week's show. But yeah, the problem is, will he start him at centre back because he's been playing, quote unquote, right back. But
he'll start him at right centre back because we're going to play like 6-1-1.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, so, that's true. That is
right.
true.
Right.
Yeah.
Back.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right centre back. Yeah. So, but no, I think I think Liverpool are an odd one this season because Milo's. I think we said against Chelsea, right? Arsenal played very good football, but it was still they ground out a 1-0 win, which is good. Liverpool, whether they seem to play well or badly, are either only just getting wins or losing games, and I think that's something they need to be really worried. Then there's no sort of grinding out of the results for Liverpool at the moment. I think because Alisson made a good couple of saves, Konate looked good coming in at the back for Liverpool again, but they could have easily have lost that game or drawn it or thrown a 2-0 lead away, and it's like that's not the Liverpool that we knew from 2 seasons ago or even last season. And it's great to watch as a United fan, but it's strange for Liverpool fans, I'm sure. So, but one thing quickly before we move on, like Liverpool, Spurs, Arsenal, I think are all teams that when it comes to the January transfer window, and you've mentioned this before, Cart, is that are they going to struggle to strengthen because people know that they can't go straight into a first team, so why would you move there? You're going to move as a depth player or believing in the project or however you describe it. Whereas Man United, I think there's still a lot of people in the world, players in the world, who would look at Man United and be like, I can easily get in that first team spot at left back, right back, centre forward, centre mid. Like there's a lot up for grabs. Whereas Arsenal are pretty. Arteta knows his 11 and it works and it's going really well. Conte knows what he wants to do with his team. He just needs to set it up, and he probably does have, like transfer thoughts that he wants to bring in for certain players, and he knows who he wants to drop, but the players probably don't know who it is. And I think Liverpool are the same, right? Who can Liverpool go out and buy? Knowing that they're going to come in and be a starting player, because you don't drop Van Dijk, you don't drop Trent, you don't drop Robertson, you don't drop Thiago, you don't drop Nunes because you spent so much money on him. You can't drop Salah, you can't drop probably like Jota or whoever's playing, and that's where it becomes difficult, right? As a manager and a director of football or technical director, whatever you want to call them. And I feel like that's the difficulty for those clubs right now, because I think Chelsea are even the same as United. I think there's lots of people in the world of football who can look at Chelsea and be like, I can get in that team.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, you could also look. I guess you just have to look at aging positions as well, right? So
true.
I guess at Liverpool, the Henderson's been rotating in, right? And Thiago's not. the most physical player, right? If you're like at Bellingham, right? Bellingham seems like he'd be a perfect fit for Liverpool and their style of football. And you know, I guess that would be the only thing I'd say. Like Jorginho, right? He's talking about maybe moving to Italy. You know, these Conte's on a free. He's apparently going to Barcelona on a free next summer. Apparently.
Of course he is.
Yeah, you know, everyone's going to free. But yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, most teams kind of. I mean, I guess Spurs. You know, it kind of reminds me of when. Okay, just calm down when I say this. When Ole came in, right, and Bruno came in, United looked like a team that you wanted to play for a little bit. You know, we had that. They got that new boost. Bruno was just on fire for those first couple months. It looked like an attractive location to go if you're a footballer, which is really important. And I think that Conte's style is gonna kind of. I don't know. It's not the most attractive style, you know. Unless you're like the next Højbjerg, right? Like kind of that kind of rough midfielder type of player, or that Emerson, Royale, like a wingback type of thing. If you maybe like a what's his name at Inter?
Dumfries.
Dumfries, that type of maybe that Syriac connection. That type of player might be interested in going to Tottenham type of thing. But up front, you got Son, Kane, Richarlison. Those aren't going anywhere, type of thing. But Liverpool is tough. You just signed Darwin, Salah, major new contract. You got all these youngsters coming through on the wings, and you already have Diaz. So you can't. I mean, I don't think does Liverpool want to strengthen those areas. They're pretty happy with the potential they're working with. But yeah, just that midfield position and it's gonna be tough. On Liverpool, just real quick, and we'll kind of talk about. We mentioned on Thursday the British or the England team comes out. Notable absentees from the Brazil national team for the World Cup. I have a list here. We have, I'm not sure who all these people are, but we have Rodney from Flamengo, Luis Enrique from Real Betis, Gerson from Marseille, Emerson Royal, who we just mentioned, from Tottenham, Felipe Coutinho from Villa, Mateus Cunha, who's at Atletico Madrid, Renan Lodi, who just left Madrid for or Atletico Madrid for Nottingham Forest, Gabriel Barbosa, big striker for Flamengo, Flamengo, by the way, just won the South American Champions League, and Gabriel from Arsenal, center back, and Roberto Firmino is out. I saw it earlier in the chat. They were talking about it, and Firmino is out. I don't know if you guys have the squads up in front of you, but notable includee is 39-year-old Daniel Alves. Actually, I don't know if his first name is Daniel. Danny Alves. 39 years old. He's playing here and there for Mexican team Pumas. He was included over Firmino, which is interesting. They have Danilo, who is going to be the starter most likely over at Juventus. But they also have Eder Militao, who can play in that right back position and cover center back as well. But instead of picking Roberto Firmino, they picked Daniel Alves. What's interesting about this is they don't really have. Richarlison is nursing a calf injury. They have Pedro, who's like he's that from Brazil. He's a striker from Brazil. They have to have a couple people from Brazil. Fan favorite type of thing. But they don't have a replacement for Neymar, that kind of 10 false 9 area type of player. And I would have thought Roberto Firmino would have been perfect for that position.
Martinelli will play there.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Martinelli could hop in there, yeah. It'll either be him or Rodrigo from Madrid.
Yeah,
he'll hop in there.
I don't think Martinelli's going to start many games. Which is why I'm happy for him. I know he wanted to go, so like it's great for his morale and stuff. I don't know if he'll feature unless he comes on and has a sparkling performance and gets his way into the starting 11. But
you're looking at like a third group game, right? if they get maximum points in the first two.
Maybe,
rotate.
or an injury brings him in and he plays well. I mean, he's playing really well. He's a really good player. So, but yeah, I mean, you've got Neymar, Vinny, and Jesus. Like Extreme says, it's it's just gonna be the experience for Martinelli will be good, and I'm relieved Gabriel's not going. I really am. I'm happy.
Right.
Stay healthy, my friends.
But this Brazil squad, you get 26-man squad, right? That's right, isn't it? 26-man squad?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then
3 of them are goalkeepers, so you get 23 outfield players. Out of 23 outfield players, they've taken 9 forwards.
and
9
not only
players that can't even go into midfield. They are out and out forwards.
not,
That's
not
bonkers.
even just forward. A lot of wide forwards.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So Richarlison, and then Richarlison's the only one that's an out and out 9 that can play like a 9, like just straight up front. Jesus likes to drop and go wide and everything. Everyone else is just wingers. Anthony, Vinicius, Martinelli, Rodrigo as well, right? Rafinha, all these guys. That's the outside, or what are they called? Inside forwards in Football Manager, right? Inside forwards.
That is where the
guys.
where the manager has to step in though, and he might have to say to Jesus like that. You're not playing in that role. You're playing in just an out and out role. It's your manager's got to come in and do his thing. I think everyone likes the idea of Brazil playing free flowing football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe their squad suggests that's what they're going to be doing, but yeah, it could backfire or it could be highly entertaining.
I think it's going to be highly entertaining until they face someone good, and it'll be reminiscent of when Germany put 8 past them.
7.
I think that's what it'll be like. 7. Yeah.
I don't think Jesus really. I think Jesus would interfere with Neymar a little bit too much because Jesus likes to drop and go. I feel like you need Neymar is going to be that guy, and then I think they're hoping Richarlison. I mean, obviously, yeah. If the manager can keep Jesus up in a 9 position, kind of poacher, keep that space open for Neymar. But yeah, I don't know if Neymar, Jesus would start. Definitely great coming off the bench, though. I think. Yeah, but yeah, like Cultured, you were just saying that. I kind of researched this a little bit earlier. Brazil haven't played. They played 1 European team since last World Cup in friendlies, Czech Republic. So they haven't really played any tough Western European teams. Just good European teams since then. Obviously, they played Argentina, probably some. I don't know who else. Just qualifiers, Chile, or Uruguay. But yeah, so that's the question: is can the team how will they do it? Like you said, against Germany and stuff like that. It's a pretty massive Premier League representation. So you never know how that'll affect things going forward. But interesting selection. I don't know. I don't know. And Richarlison's interesting because he's nursing a calf injury. I don't know how far out he is from returning, but they're hoping he's going to be ready to go.
He jumped up pretty quick when they announced him. So I think he's I mean, he'll probably most likely be fit to play. I don't know if he'll be selected, but I think he'll be fit enough to be selected.
Okay.
I might regret saying this, but I've just been thinking about it. The way England play under Southgate, if we drew Brazil in the knockouts, I wouldn't be worried.
Yeah.
I think we play so defensive, we'd nullify their attacks down the wings, and we could hit them on a counter with Kane out-muscling Thiago Silva. You get someone in and around Kane. I don't think it would be pretty, and I know Milo already thinks that about Southgate football, but I think against a team like Brazil, I think the way England are playing under Southgate, it would be effective. And I wouldn't be too worried about that Brazil lineup.
I think it'd be Brazil 3, England 1.
At least it's goals, hey? So
yeah. Danny Alves would not be the oldest player at the World Cup. Potential oldest player at the World Cup. It would be Japan's Eiji Kawashima at 39 years, 8 months and 1 day, by the way. Just putting that up.
wow.
You said Japan, and my mind went to the 50-year-old guy.
King
Kazu.
Kazu.
There's no way. Yeah, Kazu.
King
There's
Kazu.
no way.
Brazil also has 38-year-old Thiago Silva, Portugal, 37-year-old Cristiano Ronaldo. Luka Modric, 37. Couple oldies, older fellas, still getting it done. Pretty old for a footballer, by the way. Okay, old for a football. Yeah. So that was a bit about Liverpool. Let me see if there's anything in chat here. Yeah. Firmino better than Martinelli? They're just different positions. They're different positions. But yeah, Firmino seems. I don't know. I don't like Firmino not going. It's just something about it just doesn't sit right. I think yeah, Neymar, if he picks up some yellows or something, I don't know. You never know what could happen.
Well, he gets a career-ending injury every World Cup, but then he's fit enough to play the next game.
True.
So every World Cup he goes down rolling around on the floor like his career's over, and then he gets up and plays the next game. So he'll be all right.
Oh, speaking of Symphony, Joe Linton, right? Newcastle. We have to touch on Newcastle now each week because they are real competitors now.
And we're hoping to get some sponsorship money from them for the show, seeing as they're the richest club in the world. So we're going to be nice to Newcastle.
Exactly.
Oh, quick! Talking of richest clubs in the world, did you see that Man City, a club that can't fill their stadium every week, is the first £1 billion club in the world? Absolute bullshit.
Wow.
Absolute bullshit. So many dodgy sponsorship deals. It's unbelievable.
I did see
Come at
some
me, Extreme.
stats. I did see some statistics about their revenue and stuff like that. There's a lot of. I mean, FFP. There was no big FFP scandal this week, so we don't really need to get into it. But
sorry, Newcastle, yeah.
Newcastle. Yeah, sure. Newcastle 4-1 win over Southampton. Southampton have subsequently, or I don't know if it was before the game. I think it was after the game. They sacked Ralph Hasenhüttl. Goals from Almiron, Chris Wood, Joe Willock, and Bruno Guimaraes also missed out on the World Cup as well. Newcastle sitting in third place. Doing pretty well. I think you got to think that they are going to be challenging for that top 6. I don't know. The way the Premier League is so it feels so streaky, but for some reason it doesn't feel streaky right now. It feels like everyone's just consistently what they are, and they're getting tested, and the results they get are feeling very like we mentioned Chelsea, right? The results they were getting in the beginning, they were like kind of just scraping by with 3 points. But now it feels like you're that without that boost, that new manager boost or whatever, things are like looking more like Chelsea. These teams that look like Newcastle, it's not like they're doing anything amazing or something. They're just working hard. In the Premier League, you can work hard and get results if you have a bit of quality, like with Almiron and stuff like that. 4 consecutive matches for him, by the way, he's scoring. I think they can really challenge. No European competition as well for them. It's going to be, they'll play fresh. I don't know. Any comments on Newcastle? I admit I didn't see the game. It was on at the same time. I believe it was the United game. But yeah, they're going. Who's the next manager for Southampton? Yeah.
Isn't it the guy from Port Vale? Is it Port Vale?
No, Luton.
Luton. That's right.
Oh, really? Ooh.
Yeah, they're going into lower league England football.
Oh, cool.
FM Dream.
Sounds like
Journeyman.
sounds like they're preparing for a relegation, possibly. Who knows?
I say lower league. Aren't Luton in the Championship? It's only one division below, isn't it? I think. Yeah. So, Newcastle, I think you need to see what they're like after they draw or lose a game they should have won. Like they're riding so high. And the thing with Newcastle, right, that that the St James's Park is a wonderful stadium. It's always rocking, and I think the fans are still rocking off the takeover and the fact that the season started really well. It's just I'm always conscious about you need to judge a team when they're performing not at their best. Arsenal grinding out like a 1-0 win against Chelsea is great, and it could have been more. And I think you played well. Newcastle haven't really, not that I can spring to my mind straight off the top of my head. Can't remember a game where they've not played well and not scored, or not played well and have scored. Sorry, like how are they going to get through that time? And that's where I think Eddie Howe will struggle. I'm not a fan of Eddie Howe. Everyone knows that. I go on about it quite a lot, but he is doing very well at the moment, and it's good to see Newcastle back up there. But I think top 6 this year, and then see how they do with Europe. See what money they can throw around.
Damn, top 6. It's just, we had a top big 6. Now is it a big, is it a what is this?
A strong 7.
Strong 7.
Super
strong 7.
7.
That's good. Sexy 7. No. Significant 7? No.
It's too much of a mouthful in it.
Yeah. Strong 7. Strong 7. Then
the elegant 8. That's what it'll be soon.
Yeah, 8 will good. What would 8 be? Grade 8.
Elegant. 8.
Ooh. Elegant 8. Let's keep this going. 9. What do you think? 9. I don't know. Okay.
That's enough. 9.
No,
That's,
no 9.
No 9. Yeah, no 9. No 9. And then the top half 10.
Yeah, there you go. The holy
The
half.
top half 10.
Holy
The
half.
top half 10. Yeah.
Other Premier League games this week. We had on Saturday Leeds Bournemouth, which was a pretty exciting game. Leeds 4, Bournemouth 3. No guitar celebration from Jesse Marsh, unfortunately. What was it? Bournemouth up 3-1, and I think, was it last week they were up 2-0 to Tottenham as well?
Yeah.
And then they gave up the lead. And, what was his first? What was his name again? Cultured. The winning goal. He has a long name. It's like
I always want to call him
Constantine?
Cornelius, but that's not his name.
Or no.
It's something like that, isn't it?
Crescencio.
Crescencio.
Crescencio. His full name is Crescencio Gilbert Silverio Ciro Somerville. That's his full name. But yeah, he scored the winner again this week. Pretty epic. 84th minute. Yeah, Leeds grinding out victories. Bournemouth grinding out chokes. Who else? What other games did we have this week? We had Nottingham Brentford 2-2, Wolves Brighton winning 3-2, Leicester beating Everton 2-0. And there was one more game on Sunday. West Ham lose to Crystal Palace 2-1. But yeah, some nice good week of football. What do we have? We have
Go on,
League
Hoff.
Cup.
Just go for it.
Yeah.
It's like you're at school
go.
with your finger in your air. Yeah.
Sorry.
I heard someone describe Leeds earlier. I was listening to a podcast. They described Leeds. If you don't care about winning and losing, Leeds are the best team in the league to watch. Just because they're so entertaining, you don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Right.
They're gonna run their nuts off after every ball. They really are. I thought that was a great description of them.
Yeah, they're perfect for the salary cap, no relegation, promotion type of team, right? That would be your ideal team. Just Leeds, the energy, the fans, the play style, just Anyways, Jesse Marsh, everything. Okay, let's see. What else do we got? We have midweek. What's it called? League Cup, Carling. What is it? What's it called now?
Carabao.
Carabao. Have you ever had Carabao? It's an energy drink, I believe, right? Energy drink.
I have not.
Never had it.
It doesn't taste bad.
What's the worst energy drink you've ever had? Mine is a Four Loko. Have you heard of Four Loko?
Was that before? Or after
that's
they took the
alcoholic.
alcohol out? Yeah, that's alcoholic.
Never mind.
Red Bull. I absolutely hate Red Bull.
Oh,
The drink. I hate Red Bull. It's disgusting.
Oh, man. I love Red Bull.
They used to do a drink over here, and I don't know where it came from. Called I say over here. It was in the UK. Milo. I don't know if you remember it. It was called V, and it was like bright green, and the advert was a fly going up to a car. You know how they normally splatter on the windshield. it has a sip of V and then
Red
drives
Bull
and just
is
crashes
goated.
right through the car, the windshield and thing.
I don't remember
And it's
that.
just like
no.
give you energy. Yeah, that was my favorite. V used to be my favorite. But I can't stand Red Bull. It's too sweet.
Have you ever had
It is-
Rich Energy, the
No.
infamous F1
Oh,
sponsor?
F1? No, I haven't. No, I should have done. Yeah, haven't had that.
The only
Guys-
time I've ever drunk energy drinks is with vodka. Vodka
yeah.
Red
Yeah.
Bulls.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. If anyone just joining, we're just discussing the next name of the League Cup.
Yeah.
It's going to be renamed the V League Cup or whatever. But yeah, we got those matches coming up. I think United play Villa as in that
Again, yeah.
again.
My
Yeah,
my favorite energy drink name has to be Bang.
yeah.
You,
I-
you have
yeah,
one called Bang,
yeah.
right?
I
Like,
was
yeah.
addicted to those, man. I
Were you?
was drinking those and those things are crazy.
That would be the best name of the cup as well. Like,
The Bang Cup.
yeah.
The Bang Cup.
Bang.
Those people drink those as like proper pre-workout.
Oh yeah.
And then I think it was MSB notified me, or he not notified. He told me to look up the the owner of Bang, and then once I saw who the owner of Bang was, I lost all motivation to drink Bang.
Who's the owner
Yeah.
of Bang? I'm intrigued now.
He's just like just watch an interview with him. It's
See, like a gym bro or something.
he just I don't know. He just
Oh,
I don't know. I just messes you up a little bit. We have, we'll talk about Spain and Italy and Germany. We got midweek matches. EFL Cup. Let me just look at the fixtures here. I think Villa United, Arsenal have Brighton, Nottingham, Tottenham, and City Chelsea on Wednesday. That'll be interesting to see how Chelsea play there. And I believe we have matches next week as well, correct? Or is it over?
yeah, last one. No, we've
Yeah,
got one more round
Saturday,
of Premier
Sunday,
League.
yeah.
My calendar doesn't go for full week ahead there. But yeah, so we got some good matches coming up. Speaking of midweek matches, we had the Europa League round of 32 draw and the Champions League draw. Let's quickly talk about Europa League. Salzburg, Roma, Sevilla, Eindhoven, PSV Eindhoven, Leverkusen, Monaco, Ajax versus Union Berlin, Shakhtar Donetsk versus Rennes, Sporting versus FC Midtjylland. Can't say that. And Juventus versus Nantes, and the big one is Barcelona versus Manchester United. These are going to be on February 16th. Some great ties, great games. Right, the Champions League third place finishers in the group going to play the second place finishers in the Europa League. Big one, obviously, Barcelona, Manchester United. After the January transfer window, the smack talk has already begun a little bit in the Discord. I think Barca have to be favorites. I think you never know though. You never know what's gonna happen. It depends on January, in my opinion. I don't know. You guys have any thoughts on that, Cultured?
Well, Frankie de Jong wanted to stay at Barcelona to play in the Champions League, and we're going to knock him out of the Europa. So have that,
Yeah.
Frankie. Have
Yeah.
that. So
This is your
That would
version
be
of the Aubameyang storyline.
Exactly.
yeah, to a degree, yeah. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. Yeah, see what we do in January. I think we can go into it with no pressure. I don't think people expect us to beat Barcelona, but yeah, bit of fun and games, isn't it? Get knocked out and then finish fourth in the league. That's all right.
Yeah. Gonna be. Yeah. I mean,
Forever
we
an
play-
optimist. There's always an optimism side to me. So
We play Leeds before the first leg, and then we play I think Leicester for the second leg, or Bournemouth or something like that. Barca plays Villarreal before the first leg, so that'll be a tough match for them as well. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that pans
Not
out.
till February, isn't it weird, man? Like it's just
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
season is just messed up. It's so messed up.
and we got to buy into the next round, so we're going to be like what, late February for that round of 16.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
it might
yeah.
be going into March.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of good that he can just say, "Don't worry about that."
Does that
Right.
sync up with the Champions League round of 16? I was just looking at the dates.
Some of them do, yeah. Some of them do.
Okay.
Right, so
Yeah,
the
that's
Champions League round of 16, they kind
late
of
February, early
split them
March.
into 4
Who,
weeks, right?
who watches Wednesday night football though, Hoff? Come on. Like, let's Thursdays are where it's
Some people do. Apparently, it is.
Thursday's the new Wednesday, isn't it?
yeah,
Thursday's the
Thursday is
new
definitely the new Wednesday.
So,
So yeah, so we have Champions League ties, big ties. We have Club Brugge versus Benfica. We have Eintracht Frankfurt versus Napoli. We have RB Leipzig versus Manchester City. AC Milan versus Tottenham. Dortmund Chelsea. Inter Milan Porto. Paris versus Bayern Munich. And Liverpool versus Real Madrid. Some big matches. Fun matches, good matches. So yeah, these are going to be played, split up. So four ties. Anyways, basically, when these finish, the round of 16 for Europa League will also be finished, which will be March 5th, 16th. Will be the second leg of the Europa League round of 16 as well. So they'll sync up for those ones. But yeah, these are played over the course of 4 weeks. Europa League, 32 first 2 weeks and 32 second 2 weeks. But yeah, so some great ties. Liverpool, Madrid, obviously, rematch of last year's final. I was reading a
PSG
stat.
Bayern. Oh,
PSG Bayern is massive. City are the real winners here, I think, right? City are the real winners here. Paris and Bayern both. You'd have to say they're big competition to win it all. I read a stat about Liverpool. They've been knocked out of the Champions League by a team from Madrid, so Atletico or Madrid or Real Madrid for the last 4 or 5 years or something. And the only time they weren't was when they won the Champions League, and that was in Madrid. The final was in Madrid.
Yeah.
Also, a little tweet from our favorite VAR analysis, Dale Johnson from ESPN. He says, "Bad news for the Premier League. There is now no natural vacant slot in the schedule to put the postponed Chelsea versus Liverpool and Manchester City versus Tottenham games. Because they're in opposite weeks in the Champions League schedule. More scheduling conflicts as well. Obviously, if I understand if they progress. I mean, the season's booked, right? They're talking about in chat. The World Cup has made things worse and stuff like that. So, you never know. You never know. I don't know how they're gonna deal with this. Are they gonna have to extend the season in, the end of the season? I don't know what the solution is here. Didn't Liverpool have to play 2 competitive games in 2 days?
72 hours.
Yeah, 72
3
hours
days.
or something like just crazy. crazy. Do you guys know what happens in this situation? I have no idea.
Well, the Premier League has an end where, because all the final day fixtures have to be played at the same day at the same time to avoid,
Right.
they say to avoid match fixing, but it's probably for ratings and things like that. So that date will be fixed. Even at this point, they won't extend that date. So that final day fixture, they'll all be set in stone, and then they'll squeeze them in when they can. So if Chelsea or Tottenham can't get a game, or this scheduling's really messed it up, it will be something like they'll have to play the Thursday night. They don't have a Champions League game, then the Saturday, then they'll have their Champions League game on Wednesday, and then they'll play on Saturday again. They'll have to shift things in. And then it gets even worse if they all get through in the FA Cup, because they go into midweek games in the FA Cup, and then, it can become an absolute nightmare. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a nightmare even when you don't have a World Cup at Christmas to have all that fixture congestion. So,
Right.
putting a World Cup at Christmas makes it, or just before Christmas, makes it even harder.
Yeah. Pretty wild stuff. Scheduling. The World Cup better be good, It better be a good one.
yeah, that's true. It's
a lot of that opening ceremony better be worth it, Anything else to add about Champions League? Should we just? You want to just talk about quick big matches in the other leagues real quick?
Because we're gonna run out of time, I think.
We're
Otherwise,
gonna run out of time. Yeah. Well, why don't we do this? let's go straight into the trivia because Culture might has a early out possibly.
That's okay. We've got half an hour. We've got half an hour. We're good.
Okay, well,
We're good.
okay. Real quick, Madrid lost this morning or this afternoon to Vallecano. Away at Vallecano. Vallecano up to 8th in the league. Barcelona had won on the weekend against, I believe, Almeria. Yeah, Almeria. And then Madrid had to win to go back to a one point advantage in the league, and they were unable to. 2 goals from Luka Modric, but a 67th minute penalty from Trejo of Vallecano put them ahead. I was unable to see this game, but I was not expecting this. I don't think anyone was expecting that. Also, Barcelona win. Lewandowski missed a pretty easy chance. He missed a penalty, in fact. This was Gerard Piqué's final match for Barcelona. He's retiring mid-season, foregoing quite a bit of money. I think it's all a ploy to become the president of Barcelona one day. And then Ousmane Dembele scoring a great goal, and Frenkie de Jong netting in a second as Almeria win. But yeah, let's keep it brief. Those are the big 2 teams. Anything in Germany going on?
Bayern won 3-2 away against Hertha, and they actually moved into the top spot because Leverkusen absolutely smacked Union at Leverkusen 5-0. Their best result so far this season. So Xabi Alonso has gotten 1 pelt so far. Really the only other not big result, just great goals. Yusuf Moukoko scored 2 fantastic goals against Bochum, and Gio Reyna got the 3rd. Dortmund won 3-0. So they are in up to 4th place now. Union dropped to 3rd.
Youngest player to get to 10 Bundesliga goals, isn't he?
Yeah,
But
Moukoko is
ever
something
player.
else. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's great.
Beast. Yeah, Bayern's now on top, right? They're sitting on top.
Yep.
They have like, I was looking at the goal difference. They have like
1
20. They have
29
like a 20
goal difference.
and then second, the next highest is like 5 or something. Right?
7.
7, yeah.
Yep.
So that's panning out. I think back to normal for them. Eyes on the Champions League.
Yep.
Milo, any big results in Serie A?
Yeah. It's, as always, a good weekend in Serie A. Milan 2, Spezia 1. So Milan up to 2nd in the table, 6 points behind Napoli with the 2-1 win. Teo Hernandez gave him the lead with a nice finish, but the headline definitely was Spezia equalizing through Daniel Maldini, so against his parent club.
Nice
I
goal.
guess he's on loan there, yeah. So that was cool for 1-1, and then it was the Ollie G show to finish the game. A highlight reel volley to add to his collection of absolute worldies. And then he got sent off for removing his shirt in the celebration. He got a second yellow card and got sent off. Now, I honestly believe, like, when I'm teaching my twins who are now 5 months old, when I'm talking to them about football in about 10 years, I'm going to say, watch this highlight reel of Olivier Giroud, and they're going to be like, wow, he was amazing. I'll be like, yeah, you'd think that. Because his highlight reel is amazing. It really is. Anyway, moving on. Juve 2 into... Oh, I didn't even write the score. 0 into 0. But yeah, it's a big win for Juve. They needed this one. They 10 points off the top. They climbed over Inter and Roma with the win as well. I think Inter started better, but yeah, Juve just were more clinical, and that was the end of that one. Atalanta 1, Napoli 2. So that was the top 2 going into the weekend. The boy wonder himself was injured, so he didn't play in this game. Atalanta took the lead with the penalty from Lookman. Osherman with a towering header for 1-1, and then the replacement for Kvaratskhelia actually made it 2-1. And the only other game to talk about really is the Rome derby. So not the most entertaining of games, to be honest with you. Roma 0, Lazio 1. Lazio's win takes them up to 3rd in the table. It's a massive result for them, to be honest. Calamitous play in defense by Roma, allowing Felipe Anderson to give Lazio the lead, and that was enough to take the 3 points. Not even the unnerving threat that is Chris Smalling in Serie A could help Roma back into the game. So, yeah, it was 1-0 to them.
Felipe Anderson scoring against Chris Smalling sounds so odd. Like Premier League rejects from like 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, I know.
Nice little roundup there. Yeah, so all these, it sounds like I think most leagues are happening this midweek as well. So lots of football this midweek, guys. Just someone mentioned, are we watching the World Cup? Without getting too far into the politics. So on the West Coast, for me, we have, for the group games, we have one kickoff is at 2 a.m., then 5 a.m., or 4 kickoff times: 2 a.m., 5 a.m., 8 a.m., 11 a.m. So, you know, the 5 a.m. is the one is going to be tough, but 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. are great. And I bet for the East Coast, that's pretty nice, right? You just add $3.
Yeah.
But yeah, that 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. are tough. But once we get to the knockout stages, let me check here. We go to 7 a.m. and 11 a.m., which is, oh no, yeah. Like the final group, they do all the games at the same time, right? So those will be at 7 a.m. and 11 a.m. and then the knockouts are 7 a.m. 11 a.m. which will be nice, which will be doable. So maybe we could.
It's horrid. It's absolutely horrible for me. I get
for
one
Europe,
good
it's
game.
great.
Yeah, I get one good game, which is England v Iran, which starts at like 10 o'clock at night, and then it's 10 o'clock, like 2 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, and 6 o'clock in the morning, something like that.
7 a.m. for us is what for you? That's
Well, 7 a.m. for you
Late at night for him.
is late at night the same day. So we start at 7
it's
o'clock
like-
in the evening your time, which is 11 o'clock tomorrow for me.
11 p.m.
Yeah. No, 11 a.m.
AM.
So this show, right, starts at 7 p.m. your time, which is
Right.
11 a.m. my time.
Okay, that's right. So that's that's 8 hours. Okay, yeah. So 7 a.m. is 8 p.m. 8 p.m. is not
No,
bad.
13 hours ahead of you.
Oh, 13 hours ahead. So 10 p.m. Okay. No, 13 hours. That's 8 p.m. kickoff for you, the 7 8.
Yeah, so I only get one good England game, which is 8 p.m.
Oh, of the groups.
of the groups.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
I'm just gonna watch whatever's on.
Yeah.
When I'm awake.
If I'm awake, I'm just
Yeah.
gonna watch whatever's on. Yeah.
And then a healthy dose of highlights every evening.
Yeah.
That'll be it.
The 2 a.m. is going to be so tempting to stay up for. I need to reel that in, guys. I'm gonna say publicly, I need to fix my sleep schedule. My sleep schedule is effed. I blame daylight saving, even though it's not daylight savings.
Yeah, fix it after the World Cup.
Yeah, exactly, right? I might maybe.
Yeah, but
then it will be just fix it after Christmas. 'Cause,
Sounds like a
it'll
New
be
Year's
Christmas.
resolution.
Yeah, then it'll be a New
Yeah,
Year's
yeah,
resolution. Yeah,
No,
this will never end.
I gotta get into it. Somehow. All right. Anyways, we're running.
All
I think it's trivia time, right?
Just do it.
Yeah,
Let's
trivia.
do some trivia. We have another quick fire round from Milo this week.
We do.
We got to close.
we're all agreed.
Bye-bye.
We can.
By the way,
We can
sorry. Here you
give
go.
an answer to the question as soon as we think we know the answer. Right? We don't have to wait for the whole question. I know that was contentious. I watched it back.
You can give your activation word.
Yeah. As soon as
You
you.
can't yell
soon
the
as you're
answer.
ready.
If you
Okay.
yell the answer, that'll be -1 point.
Oh. What if Cart yells my activation word like he tried to
That's-
last week?
That's just
Then you can answer.
yeah. That's just the hazard of the quiz.
This is just poor This is bad neurons. It's just it's just bad.
The sleep's
Need
good.
to-
By the way,
need to get more
welcome
sleep.
everyone. Maroon, Iran, Kesu, Goodfella, everyone who came in. Sako, what's up, Sako?
Hey, sorry, guys.
Symphony, welcome in, guys.
Are you? I'm ready.
Mr.
if you
Mandrick.
guys are.
2 AM games are perfect for West Coast. If the first 2 AM games sucks at halftime, go to sleep. It's a great stay for the rest of the tournament. I know, but oof.
Is it the same activation words or are we getting new ones?
No, new activation words.
Oh,
yeah. I'm ready to. I got to read the rules out. So for those that weren't here last week, it's a kind of a rapid fire quiz. Last week we did the Premier League. This week is World Cup, And to make it a little easier, it's World Cup 2014 and World Cup. There, I've got a few backup questions in case we need them, which will be on World Cup 2010. So, yeah, two World Cups, but they're within your era. I made sure of that.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Much
yeah.
appreciated.
Post headbutt. Yeah.
Post headbutt, as we say. In the yeah, if you join the Patreon, no, we don't have a Patreon. I'm just kidding. You have access to all these amazing inside jokes. Yeah, so basically, I'm going to read a question out, and we don't have buzzers, but each player will have an activation word. They have to say it, and the first one to say it gets the opportunity to answer, and so on and so forth. It's really easy. I'm going to make it sound complicated. Right, this week's activation words: Cartwheel Champ. Yours is Landon Donovan.
Yo, let's go. Landon. I'm gonna say it's gonna be Landon.
That's fine. That's fine.
Landon.
Half yours is Freddie Adu. Yes.
Whoa.
And CulturedLeftFoot's activation word is Darius Vassell.
Oh, that's so many more syllables than everyone else.
You could just say Vassell or Darius if you want.
Devel.
Devel.
Did you just say Lennon?
Landon.
Not Lennon.
Landon.
Landon.
Trying to get out quick, you know. Landon.
I do. Frederick.
Lenny.
Yeah,
That's it. Yeah. Okay. All right. Now the questions aren't too difficult, I don't think. So therefore, should be good. All right. You guys ready?
We're good.
All right. What was the name of the Rio de Janeiro stadium used to host the final?
Landon Donovan.
What?
Landon Donovan.
Okay, Landon.
The Maracanã.
Stroke?
It is correct.
Landon Donovan.
I think he had a stroke.
Yeah.
Landon.
Please try not to scream your answers. Your
Sorry. Let me move away from the mic. I'm trying to get the quickest. There we go.
All right. What was the name of the football used by Adidas throughout the tournament in Brazil?
Darius Vassell.
Culture?
The Jumbalani.
No.
It was
You got to say your word. Who was next?
I didn't say
Whoever
anything.
wants to go.
I didn't say anything.
You didn't say
It
it.
was
Oh no, I've just remembered what World Cup that was.
I don't remember.
I can't remember.
Yeah, that was
I'll
10.
Landon
All right,
Donovan.
pass. We'll
Landon
pass it.
Donovan.
Go on. Go on.
The Imperio.
No, it was the Brazuca.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was the Brazuca, which I think is a great name for a ball.
What
All
a
right.
name.
Brazil kicked off the tournament with a 3-1 win over Croatia. Which player scored twice for the hosts?
Landon Donovan.
Darius Vassell.
That was Cart.
I don't know. Neymar.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
correct.
that was going to be my guess. Yeah.
All right. Question whatever we're on. The Netherlands surprised Spain with a 5-1 victory. Who scored a diving header?
Darius Vassell.
Oh,
Well, Darius Vassell didn't score it. It was Robin van Persie.
great goal
That is correct.
from Daily Blind. Great ball as well.
Yeah.
All right. England began their campaign losing 2-1 to Italy. Who scored for the Three Lions?
This is Brazil, right? Brazil.
Yeah.
2000.
Darius Vassell.
Yeah.
Go on, Culture.
Frank Lampard.
No.
Landon Donovan.
Go on.
Wayne Rooney.
Incorrect.
Freddie Adu.
Yes, Freddie.
Even Gerrard.
Not Gerard. The answer is Daniel Sturridge.
Oh.
I know, yeah, it's a tough one. England bowed out in the group stage after drawing 0-0 with which Central American
Darius
country?
Vassell. Oh, crap.
Yes.
Ecuador.
Not Ecuador.
That's
Could
South
you
America
complete
anyway.
this? Could you complete the question?
England bowed out in the group stage having drawn 0-0 with which Central American country?
Freddie
Landon
Adu.
Donovan.
Freddie?
Honduras.
Not Honduras.
Landon
Cartwheel,
Donovan.
Yeah, go for it.
The Central
Oh.
American team would be
look at him drawing this out, thinking some extra seconds. In my mind, that Central American team
Costa
would
Rica.
be.
Costa Rica is correct.
Let's go.
Oh. I
That
heard
is
the question
correct.
and I was gonna say Algeria because that's who we drew with in the next World Cup or the World Cup before, and Rooney went, "Nice to see your home fans booing you," and we weren't playing in England. So
Oh, that's right.
All right, Germany impressed throughout the tournament. Which central defender scored the only goal of the game as they beat France 1-0 in the quarters?
Landon Donovan.
Go on.
Almost.
Yes.
Okay.
Cartwheel's on fire right now, guys.
yeah,
Goodness.
Brazil Hearts were...
I have
Go on.
queued. I have queued. You know, like it's in the
Ooh.
chamber. Lend. You know, like my fingers.
I
on
mean,
the
you
buzzer.
haven't said Darius Vassell yet, so you're doing well.
yeah. You did well.
Right. Brazil Hearts were broken when they were dismantled 7-1 by Germany in the semis. Which player scored Brazil's only goal in the final minutes?
Darius Vassell,
Go on.
David Luiz.
No.
Oh, Alex.
I think I know this.
I had two players on my mind, and I went with the wrong one.
I know
Well, it
this.
could both be one.
Freddie Adu.
Landon.
Go on.
Pato?
Not Pato.
Landon Donovan. Was it Oscar?
Oscar is correct.
Yes. Let's go.
Man, oh man. All right. All right. Now
Shoot.
that's it for 2014. So now the last couple of questions are from 2010.
Good.
To go further
More
back
my
in
era.
time. All right, stand by. All right, which country hosted the 2010 World Cup?
Landon Donovan.
Freddie
Darius
Adu.
Vassell.
That was Cartwheel.
Yeah. 2010 was South Africa.
I'm
Correct.
lagging.
It was.
Ooh, I got
You're
scared there.
lagging.
Yeah, the Singapore
Yeah.
connection isn't good here.
Which former Premier League striker finished the tournament with 5 goals for his country?
Landon Donovan.
Go on.
Diego Forlan.
Correct.
Oh,
Man, this is a runaway.
Twitter,
There's no point.
Twitter account, football pictures that go hard. It was Diego Forlan carrying the 2010 World Cup ball. Good.
England were named in Group C with Egypt, Slovenia, and who?
Darius Vassell.
Go on.
Algeria.
No.
Oh.
for fuck's sake.
Wait, could you say the question again?
England were named in Group C alongside Egypt, Slovenia, and who?
Landon Donovan. Wasn't
Go
it
on.
USA?
It was the USA.
Yeah.
Oh, of course it was.
It was the
Rob
USA.
Green put it in his own net.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dempsey.
All right.
USA win 1-1.
Oh yeah.
Which
Rob
team?
Green. That's right.
Which team knocked England out of the tournament in the second round?
Landon Donovan.
Go on.
Germany.
Correct.
That Frank Lampard. The goal.
Frank Lampard.
It
goal,
was
yeah.
Goal
the
line
Lampard
technology.
goal, yeah. All right,
Oh,
and the
he's
last,
smashing
the last question. The last question: which Barcelona midfielder scored an extra-time goal to help Spain win?
Darius Vassell.
Go on.
Iniesta.
Iniesta is
Legendary.
correct.
Legend Iniesta.
All
I've
right.
got one.
No, cultured. You got
Oh,
2. Half goose eggs, 0,
Oh.
and Cart with 9.
Vamos.
Absolutely smashed it.
Let's go. 9 points. Just like
Ah.
USA in the
Was it
group.
Iran? I'm reading the
Cultured got
question off of a
screwed.
website. Iran is
Cultured
saying
got
that.
screwed.
Iran
Algeria
is
were
saying
in
that.
group.
Yeah, it wasn't
Oh,
Egypt.
was
It
it?
was Algeria.
Oh, so it's kind of like a double.
I'll give Cultured a bonus point for that, and that gives you 3. You're still 6 behind Cartwheel this week. So,
Okay, that's fine.
yeah.
I was shamed
fine.
last week, so we had to come back.
Nah,
by
Cart's
you
lulled
guys,
us all in there,
by
isn't he?
them.
He's gone, can't sleep. Not sleeping. My brain's not going to work. Bang, 9 correct answers.
That was an incredible performance, Cart.
That was
Yeah.
good.
That was, yeah.
It all came together. It all came together there.
Anyone you'd like to thank?
I like,
I'm just kidding.
I like to thank Eric Ten Hag,
Right.
you know,
Of course you would.
because this is his era, and I am just an instrument of his work. You know, I'm not. I just
A pawn, if you
yeah,
will.
I'm just a pawn in his world. You know. Yeah. Awesome. That was fun. I like this. I like that one. You know, that one was.
Yeah, I bet you did.
Last
yeah.
week, maybe
I just
not
want
so
to.
much.
I'm not happy with the rice for sale. I'm not having that next week. No chance.
No, it
too,
will
too many,
change.
too many syllables.
Okay.
I was gonna give Cartwheel Carlos Valderrama, but I thought that would be
Carlos.
a little
Maybe
bit.
next
Carlos.
week.
Yeah.
That's the mantle you get for winning.
Yeah, the winner gets the toughest name. Yeah.
What's the easiest consonant to make? You know, like t. What? No, I don't know. I don't know. Like what's like the easiest to like trigger?
La, L.
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
it might be
Landon.
La.
Landon Mayer.
Well, I think Hoff with ado. I think
I do.
is
Yeah.
do.
My
Freddie.
brain just can't do two things at once.
Yeah.
So, because I'm thinking
it's-
of the answer and I I have to say something else before I can
No.
say the thing I'm thinking of.
Hoff, I'm telling you, man. Like, be ready to say "f." Just like when Milo's talking, just be like,
I mean, okay.
Milo asked the question.
"Fuck."
Fuck.
And then you don't have to think
Fuck
about
off,
what
yeah.
sound you're gonna make. You just make a sound.
Like the first.
Yeah, like your first one. Yeah.
Yeah, I had to sort it out after that first one. You know, I was like, can't do that again.
Man.
Alrighty.
Nice. Good win,
Alrighty.
Cart. Good win.
Yeah,
that
that
was
was
good,
that was good.
Diego Forlan. What was the name of the ball again? What was it? The
Jumbalani.
According to
Oh,
that,
the
was the
Brazil.
Brazuca.
Yeah, Brazuca.
Yeah, the Jabulani was
Yeah.
the 2000.
Jumbalani was 2010.
And-
Yeah.
And then 2006
Was the team
Team
Adidas
Geist.
Team Geist or Team Geist? Sorry.
yeah,
yeah.
Team Geist. Yeah.
Which is the one I studied in a wind tunnel at Loughborough University.
Ah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Bring me a good old mitre. What's his name?
Yeah, you want one of those plastic ones that was like bright yellow with the black marks on it.
Oh yeah,
That was
yeah,
like a
that
wind bug,
blows
did
in the
this.
wind. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right, guys. Well, we're approaching the end of the show now. Anything kind of free to talk for a little bit. We were discussing briefly a Football Manager network save. Football Manager's coming out
Today.
tomorrow for us on
Yeah.
USA. I guess today for everyone else. whoever
Yeah,
it's
9
best.
a.m. UK time, I think. I think
No,
it's
no,
out
it's,
now, isn't it?
It's out. It is out now.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, it's officially out. Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll be doing a network save, and there is talk of possibly kind of doing the whatever, kind of out of the show right into the game type of thing situation.
Yeah.
We're still working out the details, but look out for that. Other than that,
I
can
think that
assume-
would be a great time to do it. Just.
Ye-
I think that would be really cool because even if we shorten the show a bit into that, maybe I don't know. Yeah,
right.
it'd be
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Could start
Absolutely.
a section to start it is discussing what's gone on in Football Manager.
There you go.
Done
Yeah.
well. Who's
Yeah.
pissing everyone else off?
I think it would
Milo.
be
Upsetting
Yeah.
players.
Milo with his damn 0304 Arsene Wenger tactics.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
You can do
speaking
proper
of-
Arsenal. Go and bid 50 million and £1 for whoever's best player they have.
So, can we just maybe talk about what? Because I'm totally new to it. I know, and we haven't really ironed out the details. So, like, how would this network save begin potentially? Like,
So, sorry, I was just going to dive in there because obviously I know Milo and Hoff love Football Manager as well. But I was going to say, like, we just start at the beginning of a Premier League season or I would say a top league in Europe
Right.
because that allows people to connect to it, and we know all the players and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then you just pick a time a week. So if before the show works, I can do that. Like I can do some work in the background and play, and then just extend my working day on a Monday or Tuesday for me, which works. And then you just sort of do it together. So you progress through the days together. So you all sort of have to be online at the same time. So if someone's away, they can say, I'm happy for the AI to take control of however far you get in that session that you do it.
Okay.
And then so you get you can set it so if there's 4 of us, you can say that when 3 people have pressed continue, that last person gets 30 seconds to finish whatever they're doing. They get a countdown, and then it'll automatically continue them. So you can do that, or you can just say we'll just progress when everyone's ready to go. And you can set some ground rules at the beginning and say, don't do any training, leave it to the assistant. Don't do any coaching stuff, leave that to the technical director. So you can go out and hire your assistant manager and technical director, and then they're in charge of everything in the background to make it a bit quicker.
right.
And that's what we can discuss in Discord. Yeah, go on, Hoff.
Cool.
Yeah, I was just gonna say also, You can set it. I just pulled up the game to see because I forgot some of the settings. You can make it so all the matches are Saturday, Wednesday, so you're all playing matches the same days. You don't have a Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So
Okay.
everyone is
Yeah.
So everyone's
Cool.
doing matches on the same
And-
days.
And the host, whichever one of us hosts it, they would also then set what sort of speed the game plays. So whether it would be key or comprehensive highlights, how quick the highlights would be, what the speed is in between the highlights. So you should all play at the same time and finish at roughly the same time for games.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, guys, look out for that.
I think I think it will be absolutely awesome to do it. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I am. That's one of the chief reasons I wanted to get back into it. I'm definitely going to enjoy it. I'm going to fire it up after this actually for a short 2 hour on the stream just for a little bit
Nice.
to continue my Arsenal save, where I've got news that Bukayo Saka is out for 5 weeks with a fractured wrist.
Ooh. We'll raid into you when you get started.
Oh, no worries. Yeah, no worries.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to playing it. My only down thing is like I'd play that every night, right? But then it will become consuming. So I've got this whole like I've got to keep my variety. I can't do that because it will just
Sounds good. Well, anything else you want to add about content? Obviously, Culture's got his Football Manager YouTube going. Great Football Manager content there, as well as other games. Anything you want to touch on? You have a Wikipedia Wonders podcast as well on Spotify,
Yeah.
guys. If you're going out for a walk or something, check out go on Spotify. Wikipedia Wonders. It's pretty neat what they do. Yeah.
If you like getting lost down Wikipedia rabbit holes, which a lot of people do by just generally clicking on things, then that's what it is. We link 2 football things together and see where we go to get there from a begin to an end. It's very
neat
niche,
concept.
but it is very good fun. Yeah.
Anything else, Milo, Hoff, you want to add?
Hoff, you go first. Go for it, man.
I'm going to wrap up my first season at Bayern on stream. We just finished the World Cup, so we have half a season left. I don't like carrying beta saves over, so that's why I did Bayern, because I normally don't play with the top teams. And then we'll figure out a team to pick for the stream going forward. Probably, I personally get bored doing like League 2, National League type saves and bringing that club all the way up. I don't mind doing that and then like a journeyman hopping around. But yeah, and some like I tried a Spanish 3rd division once and it was like pulling teeth trying to get promoted because only one team goes up. So it was terrible. And I would never do it again. Anyways, trying to pick a team for that. And for the YouTube save, I think I'm going to resurrect the Cup Collector series that I did last year. And hopefully get some more cups this year.
Nice. And Milo?
Yeah, so Football Manager, F1 Manager, I'm definitely going to be finishing Season 3. I'm going to be doing that tomorrow night. So yeah, it's going to be a mixture of Football Manager, F1 Manager, and Sim Racing, and Days Gone, which unfortunately, well, we had a great party for my wife on Saturday, so I couldn't do my Saturday night sort of playthrough. So I did it last night instead, and I finally tackled hordes. I actually took on 3 hordes, small hordes of zombies. But I was very proud of myself nonetheless for taking them on and surviving.
Very nice. And just quickly, our dad joke of the evening, Milo.
Yeah, I got you. 2 fish are in a tank. One says the other, how do you drive this fucking thing?
Oh my god. Beautiful. Classic.
It's better than last week's. It's
I like
better than
that
last
one.
week. Yeah, I like that.
Thank you guys all for joining. Good night.
Excellent.
Chat. Good night, chat.
Thanks, chaps. I'm gonna have to make a quick exit. So
All right,
Sounds
buddy.
good.
awesome. Thank you
See you
very
guys.
much.
Thank you
Garth.
so much,
See you later.
Garth, for hosting, man.
Cheers.
Yeah,
Yep.
no problem.
Thanks.
Oh man. Whew. How about that quiz though? Oh my god. Took off there.
Yeah, I can't.
Took off.
I think like, oh, the answer. And then I get it, and I'm like, oh, I gotta say something else. It's not the answer. Wait, what was the answer? And I'm like, I struggle.
Yeah. Alrighty, man. I'll see you later.
Alrighty, adios.
It's the Monday weekend wrap up. 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 It's the Monday weekend wrap up.